right. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Evan.
And together, we're the Deplorable General. We like to, every week we bring you tactical tips and tricks, guns and gear reviews, some political commentary. We've talked about all kinds of stuff. And we try to bring a good mix of knowledge and entertainment. I'm a military veteran.
Security contractor.
So we both have experience in this sort of thing. We've gone through countless hours of training. We've both been NRA certified instructors,
which we are getting renewed.
Yep, we're working on that. So we do have another side of this it's separate, but it is kind of similar or the same, where we actually do help train and consult with people on things tactical. Shooting classes, picking out firearms. That's one thing that we do for free, as long as it's not
too far out of the way.
Yeah, if it's too inconvenient for us, then we typically we're not going to drive an hour to help you pick out a gun, but we'll come out to the gun show or go to your local gun store and we will help you through the process of picking out a gun that's best for you. And we do that at no charge. So just some of the things that we do, who we are. So there's a couple of things that we wanted to start off with. So today we're actually going to talk about something that I think is going to be a pretty cool subject. And it's actually, we've talked about the history of the firearm. And tonight we're going to talk about something different, the history of gun control. Okay, most people think that this is a debate that's only reared its head in the past, 30 years or so, but it's not.
Goes back 40. Actually, you go back 40 years.
It goes back 1,000 years even. I mean, so we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to get into that here in just a minute. But there's a couple of things we need to do. So first of all, we need to give a shout out to FN. So FN has been a huge support, giving us hats, T-shirts, lanyard stickers, and they have just really been really great with helping us out.
Oh, big time. And also I want to give a shout out to guncarrier.com. They sent us this cool T-shirt.
Yeah.
Guys, they do the same thing as Tactical. But I think they're just getting they're a little bit newer. I mean, they're not as new as Tactical. They've been out there for a while.
Right, yeah.
So we're just now getting going. These people have been established.
And I tell you what, great resource. Check out guncarrier.com. They have all kinds of stuff. They have some of the latest gun news. They have, again, some tips and tricks, some reviews. They have videos. They have articles. They have a store where you can buy stuff. I mean, it really is. And they usually have T-shirts such as this, and they have some of the other ones that
we want to say thank you. We can't say thank you to anybody who sends us anything. It was just great.
And they sell shirts like this. They sell the love it's got like a pocket knife and a grenade and an AK and something else that spells love. They have one it's a Glock 19 with it says iPack, instead of iPod.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a couple of shirts like that in their store, and they're like $5 a piece. So, or at least I don't know if it's a special that they run where they're $5 a piece, but usually they're only like $5 a piece. So hey, check them out, guys. There's a really good resource. We're like Evan said, we're grateful for
whatever we get.
Sure. But back to FN. So again, FN's been a huge support. They send us all kinds of stuff. And when we first started this thing, we reached out to every gun manufacturer. Okay, all of them. Well, most of them. And we explained what we're doing. We explained our following, that we have about 3,000 viewers in our local area, that we're just getting into YouTube. Hopefully going to have at least a couple of thousand to start off, and then hopefully that blows up, and we're working on that. But we only heard back from one company, and that company is FN. So that speaks volumes to me, and they've been very supportive, and they've had great customer service. So that being said, 2 weeks ago, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
So 2 weeks ago, I had said that we're going to run a contest that for everyone who likes, comments, and shares our video, they're going to be put into a drawing, and then when we pick that person, we are going to give them some FN swag.
Yep.
So-
well, that's Jacob from Learn 123.
Jacob Slagle, and Learn
Yep.
123 is the YouTube channel. We actually have had Jacob on as a guest speaker several times, and we're actually going to have him on as a guest speaker in
A couple of weeks.
And we're going to talk about some stuff that's just going on, in pop culture in the gun world. But for Jacob, what do we have here?
We got a lanyard for his keychain. I carry one myself. We got a window decal from FN. And then we got this cool hat, just like the one I'm wearing. So, there you go.
Yep.
Got this awesome hat that he gets.
And again, just to let you know that it was a completely random drawing. It's just a coincidence
That it was Jacob.
That it was Jacob. And we're going to try to do this every other week. So next week, we're going to do the same thing. For our video next week, actually, we'll say instead we'll do it this week. For our video this week, if you like, comment, share, then next week we will randomly pick somebody and we will send you out some FN swag as well.
Yep.
It might be a hat like this and lanyard and sticker. It might be a T-shirt. We have some other cool things up our sleeve that we can send out to you. So this week, when you watch this video, like, comment, share. Okay. It can be either on Facebook or directly on the YouTube channel.
Or
okay?
even Tactful Tactical on Facebook.
Right. Go on to Tactful Tactical. That's our Facebook page. That's where we usually tonight at about 11 or 12 at night, I'll go ahead and get that up on the Facebook page.
Yep.
On Tactful Tactical. Check it out. We share all kinds of stuff on there. Videos, articles. I mean, we really do our best to update that with fun and relevant content.
And guys, if you want from Tactful Tactical, you can private message us also if you're interested in for training or whatever.
Right, yeah. So if you're in the Pennsylvania, northern Maryland area, and you are interested in training, if you're interested in consultation, we do firearms safety training and operations training. We do we do consultations to help people pick out the best firearm for them. We even do security consultation where we'll actually come out to your establishment. We'll kind of sit down with you and go over different elements and concerns. So we can handle all of that. We're qualified to do all of that, and that's kind of Northern Maryland, Southern Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Kind of is our territory. If you guys are out west somewhere, I'm sorry. Unless you're going to pay for a plane ticket, there's not much we can do. So the one last thing that I did just want to we've been doing a lot of political commentary lately, and I wanted to do a quick just like shout out / review.
This is cool.
Should
Mom,
be
I know
familiar.
you're watching. I want this.
So this is really cool. This is from mancrates.com, okay? Already it's going to be cool because it's from mancrates.com. Now, I got this for Christmas, okay? So I've had this for a little while, but I haven't really had much of an opportunity to bring it in, but I'm going to bring it in today. I'm going to kind of show you what's inside of this ammo can, okay?
And it ain't ammo, guys.
It's not ammo. When I first got it, I thought, holy cow, I got 200 rounds of 308, and I was happy with that. However, inside of this ammo can, you open it up here. Okay. Now I will say when I got it, it had jerky in it. Okay, but
jerky's gone.
It's been gone. Okay, so but let me tell you, it was good stuff. I think it was just kind of like an extra space filler that they put in. Not necessarily relevant to what's inside of this thing, but it was good. Okay, so what comes in this is some beer glasses. Okay, and I think you can see those here. There we go. So it is laser etched with my name on it. It says "Made in America, live free or die." So this thing is pretty cool, folks. It's We had planned on having some beer here with us tonight.
But somebody forgot the beer.
But I forgot. I left it at the house. I'm sorry, guys. But then the other thing that's cool, okay, we have a 50 caliber bullet here. Okay, also with my name etched into it. Some cool Cerakoting on that. And you see here, it's actually a bottle opener.
Can I see that?
Yep.
Just for a second.
So
that is sweet. I didn't
yeah.
know that was Cerakoted. I thought that was Paracoated.
Yep. So
That is Cerakoted, my God.
Yep,
Yeah,
it
it
sure
is.
is. Yep. So, hey, pretty cool. I have no clue. Like I said, this is a Christmas gift. I have no clue how much the thing cost, but
It's worth it.
I'm really excited about it. I'm really happy about it, and
That is just sweet.
check out mancrates.com. I've checked the website out a couple of times. They do have some really, fun and interesting things. But my sister-in-law, I have to give a shout out to her because she knows me,
That was perfect.
and that's me all the way.
That's
That was-
perfect.
So anyway, mancrates.com. Check them out. This is one of the many cool things that they have on their website. All right, so to business. The history of gun control. So let's see here.
I'm going to take 1934.
So-
I'm going to do that.
And I want to start out here real quick with the fact that this debate, okay, this gun control debate or this weapons debate. So the even the Romans talked about banning assault weapons. Okay, these are weapons of war, is what they consider them. Okay, the Romans had discussions about the idea that Roman citizens who weren't soldiers didn't need to own swords because they had the Roman government, right? And we all know how that turned out for them. But,
Not too good.
so, Rome had a couple of revolts. So they had some valid concerns because they had people who actually rose up against the Roman Empire from inside. So they thought a way to kind of quell that was to ban the right to own swords and other weapons of war. However, it didn't really end up it didn't hold then either. Okay. And then before Evan jumps here into the actual, like the timeline that we have of dates, I did just want to read an article here for the Smithsonian Magazine. And let's see here. It starts out with the notorious gunfight at the OK Corral arose, it seemed, because Marshal Virgil Earp, having deputized his brothers Wyatt and Morgan and his pal Doc Holliday, was having a gun control problem. Tombstone, with a population that hovered around 3,500, had enacted Ordinance Number 9, effective April 1881, to prohibit carrying any deadly weapon within the city limits, without first obtaining a permit in writing. Later that year, Lawman Earp's brothers had charged one Isaac Clanton with violating the ordinance in context of escalating animosity between Clanton, the Earps, and Holliday. Clanton's rifle was seized, and judge fined him $25 and another $2.50 in court costs, which was a lot at the time. The sheriff later intervened to disarm Clanton's associates, but after several demands failed to convince them to surrender their firearms, soon after, the Earp-Holliday group converged on the Clanton McClorys, with Wyatt Earp allegedly declaring, "I want your guns." A contemporary newspaper called what followed one of the crimson days in the annals of Tombstone, a day when blood flowed as water and human life was held as a shuttlecock. Tombstone of the 1880s is a particular model for those today agitate for greater local authority to restrict the ban of firearms. So, let's see. Ike Clanton survived to file the first-degree murder charges against the Earps and Holliday, claiming they had acted with criminal haste in precipitating the confrontation to kill their personal enemies. The court ruling in the preliminary hearing dismissed the charges, but determined that Virgil Earp, as chief of police, who relied on the assistance of his brother and Holiday to arrest and disarm the Clantons and McClurys, committed an injudicious and censurable act, and acted incautiously and without due circumspection. However, this was not criminally culpable given the state of affairs incident to a frontier country, the supposed prevalence of bad, desperate, and reckless men, and the specific threats that had been made against the Earps. So basically, the judge ruled then that.
Well, you also had the reputation of Wider, which was impeccable.
Right.
You know, from the Dodge City days.
Right. So, and then it goes on to say, the ordinance in this case, at least, proved to be almost entirely ineffective. As recounted in the court decision, Sheriff Behan had demanded of the Clantons and McClurys that they give up their arms, and they demurred, as he said, and did not do it. Okay, so this article goes on a little bit more, but I think that covers it. Okay, so they didn't do it. Okay, so who are the characters in this story here? We have the Earps, we have Doc Holliday, and we had the Clanton McClurys. Okay,
McClurys. Yeah.
So we have our law enforcement.
Yep.
We have a law, and we have bad guys. Okay, those are our
Cowboys.
Three parts to this story. Okay, and even in that time, okay, even in the 1880s, when they tried to enact gun control, the bad guys still had guns. Okay, yep. Lo and behold, who would have guessed that the bad guys still had guns? And it took good guys with guns to stop those bad guys with guns. Now there was some family feud there in that story.
Well, it was also Civil War. That goes all the way back to Civil War.
Yep. So there's more to that story than just those elements. However, the point of the story is that back in the 1880s, they tried to implement gun control, and it didn't work. Didn't work.
Didn't fail.
Now I'm not saying let's not do anything, but what I'm saying is that history has shown us that, you know, these methods of gun control.
Well, I'm going to get back here in the 30s here. In 1934, you heard me bring up the NFA Act. And this was due to after the 1929 St. Valentine's Day massacre in Chicago. Then in 1934, the NFA Act, National Firearms Act of 1934, which put a $200 tax on SBRs, machine guns, and with the short barrel shotguns. And, you know, back then a Tommy gun was $130, $200, and then you had $200 tax stamp. Now
it's huge back then,
and that was big money back then.
I mean, people paid $200 for a car. I mean,
less than that.
Right.
Less than that.
Yep.
So, you know, $200 a lot of money back then.
Yep.
Well, nowadays, what's $200? Look what we've started with $200.
Yep.
You know, look what we've done. So, you know, Robert was talking about on his show how the free market works, how he started his demolition business with $200.
Right.
So we're starting technically tactical with $200.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we have.
So there again, $200 ain't nothing nowadays, and that's how come you get a suppressor. Suppressor falls under this. Everybody wants to go out and buy a suppressor. Well, guess what? You got $200 tax on it.
Yep.
And you got to wait 10 months.
Right. Yep.
In 1938, Roosevelt approved approval of the National Firearms Act of 1938, licensing interstate gun dealers who must record their sales. Da da da.
FFLs.
FFL.
That's when
In 1938 was when the FFL.
Yep. So before 1938, anybody could buy a gun and sell a gun to anybody. So in 1938, that's when they created the entire FFL
Here's the
system.
biggest one right here, guys. The Gun Control Act of 1968. This is a drum roll right here. This is where you could order a gun through the mail, Sears Roebucks,
Yep.
prior to 1968.
Yep.
But thanks to the Kennedy assassination, Robert Kennedy Jr., and then you had, Martin Luther King, who, by the way, was protected by the NRA. A lot of people don't realize that the NRA was training the African Americans and giving them guns and ammo to protect themselves.
Yeah. Yep.
So a lot of people don't realize that. So that was a big one right there, guys. The Gun Control Act of 1968, so much for buying a gun, you have to go to the store. You couldn't go to Sears and Roebuck. You couldn't go to Montgomery Ward's anymore.
Couldn't buy catalogs, mail order catalogs, things like that.
No.
Because like Evan said, prior to that, I mean, I had a National Geographic, actually, I think it was, that showed a Tommy gun for sale, and it wasn't. I mean, if it was $100, I mean,
well, it was a $200 tax stamp.
Right. Well,
yeah.
But you could buy it, but you could buy it from a catalog. You could buy it mail order.
Now this is a big one that happened also in 1986. Now this during, he was just born. I was 8 years old when this took place. I was on my son's age. They banned any and all machine guns that was prior to 1986. You couldn't own anything up to date.
Right. You couldn't own anything after.
Yeah.
1986.
Now the funny thing is, I had a chance. I'm kicking myself around the block. I had a chance. My dad had a chance to buy a Swedish K for $1,000 after this, and then have the $200 tax stamp. So $1,200 got a Swedish K. There's only 37 or 40 Swedish Ks in private ownership right now.
Yeah, but in all fairness, again, 1986, $1,000.
That was a lot of money.
That was a lot of money.
That
was a whole lot of money at that point.
Yeah.
In time. But yeah, so 1986 again. This is a pivotal time.
Yeah.
In
big
firearms regulation.
And then
just real quick.
Now I'm in.
Real quick,
I can do this.
Well, we can roll. If we go a little late, we can keep streaming.
Yeah. Well, anyway, in 1993, we had the Brady Bill. I don't know how many people remember that. There was a 5-day waiting period on a handgun. Now, on a rifle, shotgun, if you had a concealed carry permit in the state of Arkansas, you could walk out the door.
Right. Yep.
With the firearm. But the rifle or there was no waiting period on a rifle. Mm-hmm. It was just on the handgun.
Well, this also was when they implemented the FBI background check. Yep. So this is before 1993. There was no FBI background check.
No.
It was simply you walk in, you fill
out the 73,
yep.
44th 73, and you'd be done.
And you got your gun. Yep.
Yeah.
Now then after that point.
And then in 1994, we all know the infamous crime bill, which outlawed Tech 9s, Mac 10s, Uzis, AR-15s to certain variations, and AK-47.
Right.
Guys,
Would they then class? This is when they created the term assault weapon or assault rifle.
You could not even have a bayonet lug on a rifle.
Yep.
Okay, I can't put no sharp steel on my gun. That really hurt my feelings.
And it was the thing about that was everything about it was cosmetic.
That's
it had no effect. No recordable.
Could not have a collapsible stock.
Right. And it had no recordable effect on actual crime. That's the crazy part about it. So, it was all cosmetic.
And also, to go into that a little bit more, you had Columbine in after 1994.
Yep.
You had the North Hollywood shootout.
Yep.
You had those two major incidents, and also the Jonesboro School, which is the anniversary is just next week
Yep.
on when that school shooting took place. So there's a lot there. I was in Arkansas when that happened.
Yeah.
That hit close to home. 2003, Congress passed the Townley Act, federal spending bill, amended, produced representative prohibits law enforcement releasing data showing where criminals bought their firearms.
Yeah. So basically, that makes it so they can't have a registry. Is basically what that's.
And then you had in 2004, of course, the crime bill ended, and then you had AR companies out the wazoo start making. I mean, they flooded the market with AR.
You can get a $400
AR
decent $400 AR at this point. So let's see here. Here's one. So in 2008, then the Supreme Court in D.C. versus Heller holds that Americans have the individual right under the Second Amendment to possess firearms in federal enclaves for traditionally lawful purposes such as self-defense within the home. The ruling strikes down the local law banning handguns in districts. That was basically when, prior to 2008, you couldn't own a handgun in D.C.
Now you
even
can.
in your house. Now you can.
Now you can. But see, but you cannot carry a gun in D.C.
Right.
You can own one in your home.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
That's it.
Let's see. So 2012, 18 years after the Brady laws passed, 156 millionth background check is performed under the law. The number of gun sales rejected through federal denials reaches nearly 1 million. So basically, just because of the background checks, 1 million people weren't able to get firearms. We're not going to comment on whether or not that's good or bad. In some cases it could have been good, some cases it could have been bad. But at the end of the day,
who knows?
That was so. One of the statistics, Evan, how many firearm laws are on the books?
180,000.
180,000. That means that there's so many laws that there's no way any of us could really know all of them and recite all of them. And again, that's on a state level, local level.
That's across the board, all 50 states.
So there's tons of legislation out there, okay? And it's really important for us to kind of give you this timeline because at the end of the day, what's the government talking about?
Banning our guns, period.
And passing more laws, okay?
Passing more laws.
Passing more laws. And at the end of the day, if you can't get it right with 180,000 laws,
you ain't gonna get it right at all.
One more isn't gonna make a difference, people. One more is not gonna make a difference. Again, I'm not saying let's not do anything. On the show we've talked about some of the solutions that we have brought to the table that we think could be some good ideas in helping prevent bad people from doing bad things to good people. But at the end of the day, one more law or 10 more laws isn't going to make any difference.
Guys, they under the Obama administration, let's not forget, he did all that ammo you couldn't buy at Walmart.
Right, yep.
That was, where's all that ammo at? Where did all that go? I want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, all of a sudden, I went into Walmart after I left to 6 Hour Academy. I come back. I couldn't go shooting until August.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I had a buddy of mine that you could buy a brick of 550 22 for, $20-$30, and he paid like $175
Jeez.
for a thing of 22, and I laugh at him to this day. But he was worried that he'd never see 22 again, so he jumped on it. But
yeah.
Look, that's the only thing any of this stuff has ever accomplished. It's created more gun sales. It's put more guns in mostly law-abiding citizens. And look, guys, that's gun sales have gone up over the past 20 years. and violent crime, including
The
murders,
number one gun sales
has
for the
gone
last 8 years was thanks to Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah. Yep. But the thing is, look, gun sales have done this, okay?
Yep.
Violent crime, murder rates, all of that in that same time period has gone
As
down.
long as you live in a free state.
So, right, yeah. And unless you live in Baltimore or L.A. or Chicago or Detroit, you live in those
No,
areas.
Detroit's coming around.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
right, yeah.
But you know, at the end of the day, you look at New Hampshire, one of the more free states, and the violent crime rate is very low compared to Baltimore, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Miami,
Seattle.
even. Yeah, I mean, you look at these big cities. So look, it's safe to say that there is a positive correlation between law-abiding citizens owning guns and crime rates going down. So again, guys, we tried to pack all this into a half hour for you.
We couldn't do it.
We went over, but
5 minutes.
But hopefully you enjoyed the content that we brought to the table. If we didn't show off our toys and go into our rant about our supporters, then we probably would have fit in the time. But we felt that stuff was important too. So hopefully we brought some good information to you. Hopefully it was enjoyable to you. Again, like, comment, share.
You'll get some swag from us, trust me.
We'll get some stuff out to you. So I'm Andy.
And I'm Evan, the Deplorable General, over and out.